The Falcons' Super Bowl loss to the Patriots after being up 28-3 had to have been one of the most painful Super Bowl losses ever, and that's coming from a Seahawks fan. So today, we're gonna go back in time, even a couple years before that Super Bowl happened, to see if we can preemptively stop that from happening and maybe actually win this team a Super Bowl. And this might be a tough one because this wasn't exactly the greatest roster in the world just a couple years before that Super Bowl, so we might have our work cut out for us. But super quick before we get into today's rebuild, we did very well with the like goal on the last video. I'm glad y'all enjoyed that one so much. But let's see if we can get to 1,500 likes on this video. It's actually been a little bit since I've done a throwback rebuild, so let's see if we can get to 1,500 likes for it coming back. It takes you like 2 seconds, and it's a free and super easy way to support the channel. And I mean, imagine if everyone did it. We would be at like 15 or 20,000 likes. It would be ridiculous. And also subscribe if you want to be an OG of the channel while you still can be one, because all I post are banger rebuilds just like this. So if you like rebuilds, you're definitely in the right place. And we're actually already getting closer and closer to 15K, so thank you for that. The goal is 50K by the end of the year. So if you know anyone that might enjoy these type of videos, let them know about them. And let me know down below what throwback team you might want me to do. I've done quite a few fun ones so far, and y'all seem to love them. But that's enough plugging, and let's actually get into this rebuild. So this is a super interesting team. They obviously have, I think, pre-MVP Matt Ryan here at an 88 overall. So hopefully he'll be good and be here for the entire rebuild, but I know QB regression is pretty strong in this game, so we'll see what happens. We have pre-breakout Devontae Freeman, which is kind of fun. I gave him superstar dev, obviously. We have Julio Jones, obviously. Roddy White, already 33 years old, but is still an 86 overall. I also forgot this team had Devin Hester, which again, he's in the last part of his career, but was still a good returner at the time for sure. The offensive line here is very good. We're gonna need a center for sure, but the rest of the line was good. Tight end might be a question mark, but Levine Toilolo, isn't he like 6'8"? Yeah. And Jacob Tamme was a solid tight end, but he's already 30 here, so we're gonna need a replacement there. And then this defense is interesting. Desmond Trufant is like really the only already super good player. Safety overalls got really messed up in these rosters for some reason, so they're really low, but I gave Ricardo Allen star dev because he eventually became a decent player. We have Grady Jarrett here pre-breakout. I gave him superstar dev, obviously. We have Vic Beasley, who looked good for his like first couple years or something, but kind of fizzled out for sure. But maybe we can save his career here. It's just not the best defense in the world, but it is solid. But it is also old, so we're gonna need to do something about it. Who the hell is it? Oh, Tyson Jackson. I forgot about him completely. But anyways, that's enough talking about the team. This is, looking at it here, this is harder than I thought it would be, or it's gonna be harder than I thought it would be. There are some good players and players with some upside, but I'm surprised this ended up being a Super Bowl team. But anyways, let's get into year number 1 of this rebuild. We're not gonna do like any trading, obviously. I like to keep these fairly realistic. So with that, let's get to the midseason point of year 1, and hopefully we can have a decent start. Okay, well, at the midseason point of year 1, we are 4-4. That's maybe better than I thought we would be. I guess we're an 80 overall. It feels like a worse team to me for some reason, but that makes sense. Also, yes, I am in Madden 21. If you haven't seen one of these throwback rebuilds before, these rosters don't really work if you plug them in to like Madden 23. I mean, they do, but with the draft classes, the faces glitch and it all shows a horrifying... That's mean because it's a real player, but it's scary because all of the players have the same face, and the face kind of looks like a serial killer, and seeing literally everybody with that face is a little off-putting, so I have to use Madden 21, but it's fine. This game's low-key maybe better anyways. But anyways, now that that's out of the way, it looks like we do have to re-sign Julio Jones already. Also, Chris Chester's here, meh, he's already 32. Adrian Claiborne, I mean, he had that one game where he had like 5 sacks, but meh. Paul Warlow, maybe? Is this pre-breakout Ryan Schrader? Because he was good for a few years. I don't know, but we're going to re-sign Julio, still only 26 here. I guess these rosters are like 8 years in the past, which is crazy. So this is like prime slash maybe a little bit pre-prime Julio Jones. Only 4 years, 79 mil seems like a bargain. Let's do it. And he does re-sign. Now, like I said, everybody else, I'll re-sign Paul Warlow because he is only 25 and he's very cheap and he doesn't take it. All right, fuck you too then. Everyone else here is definitely upgradable / replaceable. So with that, let's get to the end of year one, and maybe this can even be a playoff team in year one. Famous last words, probably. Okay, well, here we are at the end of year one, and y'all see the loss in week 17 to the Buccaneers, 17-14. However, despite that, we do actually make the playoffs, going 8-8. So we just stayed mid all season, 4-4, now 8-8, which I guess the Falcons kind of were for like a while, maybe not exactly 8-8, but around there. So definitely not the best roster in the world, but not the worst either, so I'll take making the playoffs in year one. Matt Ryan was very good. 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns, only 11 picks, which is maybe a little high, but who cares? 70% completion percentage. So if he was that good, that means something was probably really bad. Oh, okay, there's one of them. Devontae Freeman was terrible. Only 600 yards, only 3.1 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. At least Tevin Coleman had 11 touchdowns, but only 3 yards per carry. So I don't know if we're gonna get real-life Devontae Freeman here. We might have to upgrade there, unfortunately. Julio Jones was very good. 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns. Roddy White, almost 1,000 yards. Jacob Tamme, 850 yards, 8 touchdowns. We'll take it. Blocking wasn't amazing, especially from Jake Long, who I'm surprised is even an 87 overall here. I mean, he was good for like the peak of his career, but he fell off kind of quick, and I thought he fell off before this point, but what do I know, I guess? Justin Durant led the team with 124 tackles. Tackles for loss, 9 for Grady Jarrett led the team. And sacks, ooh, not many, which I guess has been the problem with this team for quite a while now. I guess Vic Beasley, like his rookie year, got a lot, but that's definitely going to be something we have to address, because he wasn't quite the same player here. Even in real life, he kind of lucked into a lot of those sacks, but still. And then interceptions, 4 for Desmond Trufant led the team, 3 for Durant, 2 for Jalen Collins and Robert Alford. MVP goes to Alex Smith. Smoking Jay Cutler at number 2. Oh, this is when running backs would actually be up here. Le'Veon Bell at number 5. Johnny Manziel at number 10. Only one running back up here, though. Offensive Player of the Year for the NFC goes to Jay Cutler. Matt Ryan at 2. Wish he could have won that, but it is what it is. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Luke Kuechly. Justin Durant at number 7. He was pretty good, actually. Jameis Winston wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's kind of fun. Did he in real life? I can't remember. Or no, it might have been Todd Gurley. That's probably who it was. Tevin Coleman at 3, up to a 69 overall. Nice. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Eric Kendricks. Jalen Collins at number 4, Vic Beasley at 5, Grady Jarrett at 6. So no awards, unfortunately. Julio did win Best Receiver, which is kind of cool, so I guess we got 1, even though I don't normally check these. But you know, at least we're in the playoffs, and I'm glad to see that Matt Ryan can do well in this game, because that's something I was worried about. Because if we had to replace Matt Ryan, it would have A, been hard, and B, it would have made it a little less realistic, because they did have Matt Ryan for the, you know, infamous 28-3 Super Bowl, so we'll get to keep him. But I don't expect to go very far in the playoffs unless something weird happens, so we're just going to simulate these games out. We're not even really going to jump in. Yeah, we're only an 81 to the Packers, 86 overall. We're not really at that level yet. In the words of Baker Mayfield, we're not built like them. So honestly, hopefully we lose, or else that might not be realistic, but we'll see what happens. Okay, we do lose, 35-30. But hopefully next year we can have an actually really nice team. So with that, let's get into the offseason and let's start to work towards that. Okay, well, that's a very interesting Super Bowl. Is that like the highest scoring Super Bowl ever? Steelers versus Eagles, 48-42, the battle for Pennsylvania. I almost said Pittsburgh. The Steelers, of course, winning it, which I believe is the last throwback rebuild team I did, the Killer Bees one. I think the actual Super Bowl this year was Super Bowl 50, so the Panthers-Broncos Super Bowl. So a little bit different there. This was the year before the Eagles got Carson Wentz, but apparently they won't need him here. Who did they have? Sam Bradford, probably? Yeah. Oh, DeMarco Murray too. This was kind of a fun team. Kiko Alonso, they still had him. Connor Barwin, peak Jordan Matthews, that was kind of cool. I understand this was like a really good team. Even a couple years before they actually won the Super Bowl, that was a good team. But they end up losing the Super Bowl here to the Steelers. Now, for re-signings, Jake Long was never good for the Falcons, and he wasn't really that good here this year, so we're not going to bring him back. We'll look to bring in someone younger. I do still kind of want Paul Warlow for no real reason. He resigns, cool, I guess. Adrian Claiborne, meh. I mean, I think he led the team in sacks, but it was only 5. So we'll let everyone go and hopefully step into free agency with a little money to work with. Ooh, there are some interesting players in free agency. I mean, there's eventual Eagle, Haloti Ngata. Wait, no, this isn't an Eagles rebuild. I'm stupid. This is the Falcons. I got myself thinking it's the Eagles. Most of the players here are pretty old. Ooh, Josh Gordon. Roddy White did retire, which I did expect, which I think he did retire this year in real life too, so rare Madden W, will take it. I'm surprised Devin Hester didn't retire. Ugh, this team doesn't look good anymore. Matt Ryan did get superstar dev. Jacob Tammy got star, not that that's gonna matter. But yeah, we're probably gonna need a tackle and a center. Justin Durant did regress quite a bit, but at least he got star dev. We're gonna need a defensive end. Maybe a corner even, probably a safety. I don't know how this team's an 81 overall. I don't think it looks good. But these are the players I'm gonna go after in free agency. It's gonna be Brandon Marshall, the linebacker, who was very good for the Broncos for a few years, kind of just like disappeared, but he was very good for the Broncos for at least like 3 or 4 years. I can't remember. So we'll try to bring him in and hopefully he, you know, stays good. We're going to try to bring in Josh Gordon. We're having to pay him a decent amount, but I think it should be worth it, assuming we do get like most of what he was for the Browns before all of his suspensions. And then we're going to try to bring in Junior Gillette. I guess kind of another player similar to Brandon Marshall where he kind of just didn't get signed by anybody. I think he like complains about that all the time on Twitter or something. I can't remember for sure, but I think he kind of got like CTE or something. I'm pretty sure. He kind of seems a little not right in the head, but you know what? That makes a good defensive player, you know what I'm saying? Wouldn't have it any other way, minus the CTE maybe. But hopefully we can get at least one of these 3 players. I remember signing players kind of sucked in this game. You know what? I'm actually going to withdraw from Brandon Marshall and up it even more because I don't think where we were at would have gotten him. It's kind of an overpay. No, it's like the same. Okay, we'll try that. I don't even know if that's any better than what it was before. Okay, but now let's simulate the week and let's hope and pray that we can at least get, you know, 2 of those players. Okay, well, we did get my wish. We got 2 of those players, being Junior Gillette and Brandon Marshall. Didn't get Josh Gordon, so receiver is a massive need, but at least we got, you know, some good defensive pieces. Unfortunately, though, outside of like 3 guys, it isn't the best receiver class. Now, the top 2 do carry. It's like Tyreek Hill and Michael Thomas. So if we can get them, I don't know if I want to take them because I would feel a little cheesy, but we'll see what happens. There is also like Tyler Boyd, but heading into the draft, we definitely do need to look at receiver, tackle, center, tight end, safety, maybe even a corner. Like, as much as we did fill a few needs, we still have quite a few more. So with that, let's get to the draft and hopefully we can fill out this roster at least mostly. Okay, so here we are in the 2016 NFL draft. Now the Ravens of all teams have the #1 pick, which, you know, I guess this is like pre-Lamar era, so I don't think they were very good at this time, so that makes sense. And we have some interesting players here. I mean, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Joey Bosa, Zeke, Jalen. There are some studs in this class, for sure. Hopefully, you know, one of them can fall to us, but we'll see what happens. But honestly, out of these guys, none of them are that big of a need. It's not a very strong receiver class, like I said. Will Fuller, I do have rated pretty high here, so maybe we could go for him. There is Sterling Shepard too, Tyler Boyd, of course Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, obviously. But there aren't like that many great players. I mean, there are there's some really good ones, but only like 2. There's Robbie Anderson, again, CTE maybe. But anyways, let's just simulate to our pick and let's see who falls into our lap. Hopefully someone good. The Cowboys take Laquan Treadwell, a pick before us. Oh, both of the top QBs are still left. Not that we obviously need one, but it's interesting. Oh, Zeke and Derrick Henry are still here. Interesting. We're not really in a position to be taking a running back though, but also I kind of want to. You know, running back is kind of a need for us. It wouldn't be if this was realistic, but Devontae Freeman was awful for us. It's actually kind of tough to decide which one to go with, because Zeke was obviously the better prospect. Derrick Henry wasn't very good his first few years in the NFL and then just randomly became like the best running back ever. Maybe. Let's just go with probably the better peak of the two in Derrick Henry. Not who I thought I would be taking at all, but obviously a monster. So let's go with Derrick Henry. 80 overall, hidden dev. Weird pick, but I'm happy with it. Very weird pick. I saw the Chargers took Carson Wentz. Jared Goff is still here. All the good receivers are gone, unfortunately. I don't want to take... People are probably going to want me to take Tyreek Hill. I've taken him in like every rebuild that I've done for these, so I'm not going to. I want to have at least a little variation. We could go with a corner though. We could go James Bradbury. I don't know what overall in dev trade I have him at, but we definitely do need corner. I get Kevin Byard and Justin Simmons way too much. Yeah, let's go James Bradbury. He is 23. He's a little older, which isn't great, but he is a great player. So James Bradbury, welcome to the Falcons. Ironically, another player that kind of took a few years to really hit. I thought he was overrated for the Panthers and then became good for the Giants, kind of fell off for the Giants, and then was very good last year for the Eagles. So kind of up and down, but hopefully we can get the up here. Apparently out of Abilene Christian. I don't know what's wrong with these draft classes. It is what it is. Paxton Lynch to the Cowboys. What have the Cowboys been doing? Laquan Treadwell, Paxton Lynch, and did they take Von Bell last round? I mean, that's a solid pick, but ugh, gross. Okay, I wanted Yannick Ngakoue, but he is gone now, unfortunately. We could go Matt Judon. We do really need a lineman, though. We could take Connor McGovern. Is he the best one available? I think so. You know what? I'm actually conflicted here. If you haven't seen one of these before, how I do it is I take the first 3 picks and then simulate the rest out so I don't cheese it too much. But we could also go Tyler Higbee. We could also go Robbie Anderson. You know what? Yeah, let's go with Tyler Higbee. He's been a good player for the Rams for a few years now. Never been like amazing, but definitely a solid tight end option. Will probably be the backup for his first year, but should eventually take over. Let's take him here. And he is a 70 overall, which is a little higher than I thought he would be even, so maybe he starts year 1, but I'm pretty happy with that pick. Oh, I kind of want to take pick 420. I have to. I'm going to take it. I'm sorry. I'm too immature to not take. Give me Robbie Anderson at pick 420. That's poetic. Is he actually 6'3", 238? That's not right, is it? Was he at one point? Because it says he's listed at 6'3", 190, which is what I thought, because he's built like the goddamn Applejack cinnamon stick guy. Like, he's really thin. But I don't know. Either way, let's take Robbie Anderson. I'll bump his weight down if I remember, but it doesn't really matter. Let's take him. And he's a 71 overall. I didn't remember I made him that high of an overall. I should maybe bump that down a tiny bit, but he was really good in his prime for like the Jets and then the Panthers for like a year or 2. So now that'll be the last pick that I take here, adding some more speed to this receiving group. Let's simulate this out and hopefully the CPU picks some good players. Okay, well, we did pretty well in the draft here. Even the CPU picked 2 players that kind of, you know, have stuck around in the NFL in DeAndre Houston Carson and Stephen Weatherly. So imagine if a team had this draft class. That would be ridiculous. Literally all players that have started before. In like a couple all-pros, I'm pretty sure. So we absolutely killed it, it looks like. What the hell did the Cowboys do? Not only did they take Paxton Lynch, but they also took Cardale Jones. Why? What did the Colts do? The Chiefs actually ended up with Chris Jones. I mean, that's the wrong face in the wrong college, but it's supposed to be that Chris Jones. Of course, the Chargers got Carson Wentz. Where did Jared Goff go again? It looks like Bosa went to the Ravens #1 overall, Ramsey to the Browns, Ronnie Stanley to the Buccaneers, DeForest Buckner to the Vikings, Jack Conklin to the Lions, interesting. Sheldon Rankins actually goes to the Saints here, so something realistic at least. Michael Thomas to the Dolphins, Zeke to the Raiders, Jared Goff went to the Browns. So they end up with Jalen Ramsey, Jared Goff, Kendall Fuller, Alex Collins, Anthony Brown, Austin Blythe. They got a few decent players. But anyways, let's get into year #2 of this rebuild, and hopefully we can be even better of a playoff team this year. I can't wait to go 5-12 or 5-11. Now heading into year 2, this team is looking better, I guess. I think it's a lower overall, but I feel better about it for some reason. I guess just because we're younger, we have a lot more upside. Obviously, starting a few more rookies here in Robbie Anderson, Tyler Higbee, Derrick Henry, Charles Johnson, and Marcus Martin. We're just chilling in free agency, and Byron Stingley. I barely remember him. And then on defense, Junior Gillette for some reason went down to an 83 at defensive end, but that'll be fine. I could bump him back up to an 85. I might, I don't know. We'll see. Of course, we're also going to be starting James Bradbury, and I guess I'll start DeAndre Houston Carson just because I gave him like star dev or something in the draft classes, because he's been pretty underrated for the Bears. I don't think he's on the Bears anymore, but when he was pretty good. Brandon Marshall, obviously, we signed to, so we're looking better, I guess, even though we're technically worse. We'll see what happens. So with that, let's get to the midseason point of year 2, and hopefully we can do maybe better this year, but we'll probably be much worse for no real reason. Okay, so I guess we are technically slightly better at the midseason point of year 2. Probably because we've only played, I guess, one less game. We're 4-3 here, but we will take it. We have a breakout player. Who's this gonna be? Ricardo Allen, okay. I mean, we'll see if we can hit that. Hold the Panthers to less than 150 passing yards or get Ricardo Allen 2+ interceptions for... I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll find out, I guess. Now, for re-signings, I mean, there are some starters here, but like they're not the best starters, I guess. Like Robert Alford's good. I might re-sign him, but really we could upgrade. We'll see. We'll let him test free agency probably. And then everyone else here is either like lower level starters or like a backup. So meh. I'm good. So that's pretty much all there is to do here. If I show y'all a Ricardo Allen hitting a breakout, then he hit it. If not, then I'll just see y'all at the end of year #2. Okay, well, here we are at the end of year #2, and super quick before I reveal how we did in year #2, if you haven't already, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. I mean, it really does help out the channel. It'll make you an OG while you still can be one. I said that really weird, but it'll make you an OG of the channel. And plus, if you like rebuilds, you're definitely in the right place, because that's literally all I do. And let me know down below what type of rebuild you would want me to do if you have a fun idea, or what throwback team you would want me to do. I'm down for whatever. Oh, and also, let me know what team you want me to do first for like regular realistic rebuilds for Madden 24, because I'm going to be able to play it tomorrow, I guess, as of the time this video goes out. So let me know for sure, because I don't know what team to do first. I'm between, I guess, my favorite team, the Seahawks, and whatever team is the worst overall. So either the Rams, Cardinals, or like the Texans might be bad. I don't know. But anyways, thank you for doing all that. And in year #2, we finished 10-6, making the playoffs. We were, of course, slightly better than last year, which is what I was hoping for. We had a weekly award, apparently. James Bradbury with a pick 6 and 10 tackles. That's pretty good. I never check these for some reason. Are the Lions good here? Calvin Johnson and DeAndre Levy got players of the week. Jay Cutler. Brandon Marshall in week 7 with 9 tackles, a sack, and a pick. I don't know why I'm checking these. I just want to. And then that's it. Prince Amukamara with 2 picks. That's fun. But very good season for us. We won the division, of course. Let's check out some of the season stats. Matt Ryan, very good once again. 4,600 yards, 38 touchdowns once again. A little more picks, a little bit worse of a completion percentage. So a little bit of a step back, but still very good. Derrick Henry was fine. Not quite 1,000 yards, 921, only 4 per carry, which is fine. 7 touchdowns, so a little closer to early career Derrick Henry here, but that's fine. Devontae Freeman was better this year, of course, as soon as we replace him, at least in terms of yards per carry. Julio Julio with 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. Tyler Higbee with 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. Robbie Anderson with 888, 10 touchdowns as a rookie. Charles Johnson was fine. Ooh, the line wasn't very good at all. Marcus Martin was bad. The tackles were bad. We'll probably find some replacements there. Brandon Marshall led the team in tackles with 110 tackles for loss, 12 for Beasley and Grady Jarrett, and then sacks. 8.5 for Junior Gillette, we'll take it. 6.5 for Tyson Jackson. Only 5.5 for Beasley, only 3 for Grady Jarrett. Meh. And then picks, Ricardo Allen was pretty good. 4 for him, 2 for Marshall, Trufant, and Robert Alford, and then 1 for a few players. But let's check out some yearly awards. MVP goes to Russell Wilson, something he has yet to do in his career, or even get a vote for, which is kind of crazy because he had like the 40 passing touchdown year, and he didn't get a single vote, but whatever, he wins it here. Matt Ryan at number 4. Offensive Player of the Year for the NFC goes to Russ. Matt Ryan again at number 4. Eric Kendricks wins Defensive Player of the Year. Alteron Werner up here. Okay. Brandon Marshall at 10. Wow, we top 3 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Derrick Henry, Robbie Anderson, and Tyler Higbee. Were there just no good rookie? No, there was Tyreek Hill. Kenyon Drake is good. I don't know how we top 3'd that, but we'll take it. In Defensive Rookie of the Year, we get barely beat out. Deion Jones wins it for the Commanders. DeAndre Houston Carson at 2. James Bradbury at 3. We almost top 2'd there. So it would have been nice to win both, but at least we win one of the Rookie of the Year awards. But of course, we're going to be taking on the New Orleans Saints in the wild card here, our division rival. So not much for us to do here, but simulate it out. So let's see if we can get a win over our division rival. Actually, before we do that, I want to check the playoff bracket. So the 2 1 seeds are the Texans and the Seahawks. The Seahawks make a little more sense. Maybe I'm just biased, but they were pretty good around this time. The Texans, I guess they were good around this time too, huh? Because they had J.J. Watt. I don't know who their QB was, but they had D-Hop. They had some good players. Whitney Merciless. The Commanders were pretty good this year. The Packers makes sense. The Bengals. Was this like the ABCTE year where Vontaze Burfict just killed him in the playoffs? Or was that 15? I don't know. Or 17? I'm losing track of time. I'm old and senile. Anyways, let's simulate this game out against the Saints, who are only an 80 overall to our 83, and let's see if we can get a win. And of course, the having a better overall team curse strikes again. We get upset technically by the Saints because we did have the better team and we were at home, but I guess there's always next year, so we'll see what we can do in year number 3. In the Super Bowl, the Bengals beat the Seahawks 31-24, take down the MVP in Russell Wilson. So it looks like Andy Dalton here, I'm guessing, wins a ring. Yeah, they still have Andy Dalton. Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard are exceptionally high. Both of them kind of fizzled out a little bit after the Bengals started to get worse. I understand why this team won the Super Bowl, but yeah, a lot of these players started to not be as good after a while. Their secondary also is not very good. But anyways, we, of course, still have re-signings here. Marcus Martin, I'm good. Robert Alford, we can probably find a replacement. Mostly everybody here we're, like, good on. It's all just backups or just replaceable players. So with that, let's get into free agency, and let's hope A, there are good players, and B, we can actually sign those players, because you never know. Okay, well, ironically, Giovanni Bernard is the best player here. There are definitely some solid players, though. Okay, so this very well could be the last season of the rebuild, so we might as well go hard in free agency. We're gonna spend like all of our money, and we're gonna go after Kiko Alonso, Teron Armstead, trying to steal him away from a division rival. Max Unger, same deal. We're gonna go after Martellus Bennett. I mean, Tyler Higbee was good, but Martellus Bennett's literally 12 overall higher. I don't know if we'll get him though, because we don't have that much of a lead for him. We'll see though. We're going for Dan Carpenter. We need a kicker. Going for Gerald Hodges, who is very expensive for no real reason. He's almost 20 mil per year. I don't know why. Tavon Austin, we might add a different receiver, but he was like the best one that wasn't like 35. I mean, yeah, there's really old Larry Fitzgerald here, which we could just go for him, honestly, because it's not like Tavon Austin is going to develop that much, but I don't know. J.J. Wilcox, I mean, DeAndre Houston Carson was good, and we'll probably start him, but Wilcox will be very good depth. And Jordan Hill, same deal. So, a lot of players here. I hope we can get get at least like half of them, because if not, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with this money. We're up to an 84 already, so let's see if we can get any of these players. Ideally all of them, but that's not gonna happen. Okay, we get Teron Armstead, Jordan Hill, Dan Carpenter, Gerald Hodges. Okay, we don't get Martellus Bennett, but it looks like we get everybody else. So we will definitely take that. Now up to an 86 overall. But let's see if we can do anything else with the money that Martellus Bennett left open. Oh, we also didn't get Kiko Alonso. Do we really need him though? Like honestly, I don't know. Okay, so these are gonna be the 3 other players we're gonna go for. We're gonna go for Manti Te'o, Mr. Invisible Girlfriend himself. I just thought it would be funny, so we'll try to get him. Was he ever like 81 overall good? I mean, he was like okay for like a year or two, but definitely kind of a bust. Where did was he a first round pick? I can't remember. He might have been second, so maybe he wasn't like that big of a bust, but still. We're gonna try to bring back Robert Alford. I was hoping there would be a better corner, but he was just straight up the best corner. And Dion Jordan, I just offered him whatever money we had left. I don't know if he'll sign, but maybe he'll be good depth. Another bust, I guess. So with that, let's see if we can add any of those 3 players. So we get Te'o and Alford. That's pretty much the majority of what we were looking for. I don't really care if we get Dion Jordan or not, to be honest. So we are looking pretty good now. I actually want to see where we rank in the NFL. How do you do this? Okay, so we are good, but the Steelers are an 89, the Seahawks are an 87. We're good, but we are not the best yet. The Packers are an 87. There's us at an 86. The Bills and Bengals are the same or higher. So we're like top 5-ish around that range in terms of roster talent. We have a 5th-year option here. Who is this going to be? Jake Matthews? No, he's been pretty terrible. In real life, I would have picked it up, but no, he's been bad. But anyways, let's get to the draft, and let's try to finish out this roster. Okay, this year we won't cheat and we'll only take our first 3 picks. I mean, I could just take all the picks if I wanted to, but, you know, I kind of have some insider information on who would be good in the future, so we're not... That's why I don't want to do that. But the Jags have the number 1 pick here. I actually do want to check the top 3 picks. So the Jags with the number 1 overall pick do go Myles Garrett, of course. In my opinion, the best pass rusher in the NFL, or edge rusher at least. So the Jaguars are immediately very much upgraded. Now the Browns at number 2, who actually got Myles Garrett at number 1, obviously. Ooh, that's not quite as good of a pick. Corey Davis. I mean, he's been fine, but like maybe a back half of the first round, early second level of player, not really number 2 overall. And then the Dolphins at number 3, they get Jamal Adams. Okay, well, he was really good with the Jets. I don't know about picking safety this high, but you do you, Dolphins, you do you. There are still some really good players available with our pick. I mean, I guess formerly really good players, Leonard Fournette, Deshaun Watson, the MVP, Mitch Trubisky. What am I really looking at the most here, though? What's our biggest need? We could go Budda Baker, but like, is that really our biggest need? Maybe. Okay, yeah, let's go with Budda Baker. I feel like I get him a decent amount in these fantasy or throwback rebuilds, but it's because he's obviously a good safety. Only 21 years old here, of course, out of Washington. Let's take him. 73 overall. I think I gave him superstar dev, so should be a good safety for us. Now, in the second round, Deshaun Watson is still here. Do teams just not take QBs in this game? Was that a thing? I can't remember for sure. But let's go with one of the best receivers in the NFL when healthy, like top 3, top 4. Is 24 here? I think I said this the last time I took him. He was like the player I wanted the Seahawks to take in this class, and they didn't. And then he became like the best receiver in the NFL for 1 year, and I wanted to die. But we're gonna make up for those sins here. I guess we're not adding him to the Seahawks, but we're adding him to my team. Let's go with Cooper Kupp. 78 overall, ranked number 3 in the class. I like that pick a lot. Now in round 3, our last pick, do we just completely cheese it and go George Kittle? That would be kind of fun. I don't know how y'all would feel about that, but that would be a little fun, I'm not gonna lie. We could go Rasul Douglas. I mean, he's been good as of late for the Packers. I would feel scummy taking George Kittle, but I really want to. I do. Could also go Carl Lawson. I feel like I do get him a ton though, and I don't know if I've ever taken George Kittle. I probably have. This is such a stupid draft class. Budda Baker, Cooper Kupp, and George Kittle. All NFC NFC West players, I'm realizing. Just need a Seahawks player round 4. Not that they took anyone good in this class, I'm sure. But let's just take George Kittle. 76 overall, ranked number 9 in the class. I feel lame, but it's fun, so who cares? So let's simulate the rest of this out. Actually, is there like a solid Seahawks player just to fill out the Infinity Gauntlet? I don't know. Nazir Jones, I liked him. I don't think he's very good in this class, though. Amara Darbo, oh. Elite QB class, though. Nate Peterman, Swag Kelly, Taysom Hill, PJ Walker. Okay, but anyways, let's simulate this out. And the CPU, again, took 4, like, good players. Xavier Woods, starting safety for the Panthers. Is he still on the Panthers? Why do I not remember? I don't know. Rudy Ford, starting safety for the Packers. David Moore started for the Seahawks, so I guess that fills the Infinity Gauntlet there. And then Tim Patrick, starter for the Broncos when healthy. Literally, we only picked starters in this rebuild. I don't know how. Patrick Mahomes goes to the Cowboys here. I feel like that happened last time. Hassan Reddick skips over the Cardinals and Panthers and just goes straight back to the Eagles. John Ross skips the Bengals and Giants and just goes straight to the Chiefs. TJ Watt goes to the Cardinals, so definitely some interesting stuff here. Ryan Ramczyk stays on the Saints. Marcus May goes to the Jets. That's realistic. But with that, let's get into the third and maybe final year of the rebuild. Okay, so kind of a weird trade, but we're going to be trading Tavon Austin and a 6th round pick for Yannick Ngakoue. I wanted edge depth. We really did not have like any. I don't know if Ngakoue will even play well, but he's pretty good in real life. Terrible run defender, but pretty good pass rusher. And that's kind of what we need. So no more Tavon Austin. Will the Seahawks even start him? Was that kind of a pointless trade for them? No, he'll start. I mean, he'll be taking the time of Tyler Lockett, so that's not great. But yeah, that was an interesting trade for them. But they wanted him, so not my fault. But the team is looking very good heading into the third and potentially final year of the rebuild. Again, I feel a little cheap for, you know, the players we've drafted, but to be fair, every other team had a chance to draft them and they didn't, so I mean, we might as well take them, you know what I mean? Also, Junior Gillette and Vic Beasley got star dev, which is pretty nice. And HaHa Clinton Dix was just chilling in free agency, so we picked him up. Still only 24 here, I'm pretty sure. This is a really good team. I don't know how we're only an 84. We were just an 85, so I guess trading Tavon Austin mattered, but like, eh. And this is, of course, a team with a lot of upside. I mean, it's a really young team, so even though we probably won't get a Super Bowl win here just because Madden simulation, and I don't even know if we are the best team in the NFL. We're probably not. No, yeah, even after those teams lost their morale, they're still higher, so probably no Super Bowl here, but I think not going to the Super Bowl at all is better than the pain that would have been the 28-3 Super Bowl. So I would call that a win in my book. And it didn't even register in my brain, but I think last year was the year that the Falcons would have been in that Super Bowl against the Patriots. Instead, it was what? Bengals, Seahawks? So definitely a difference there. But anyways, with that, let's just get straight to the end of year number 3, and hopefully we can do pretty all right. Okay, well, here we are at the end of year number 3, and y'all know why we're here. If you haven't already, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. I mean, if you've made it all the way here and you haven't done those, what are you doing? I mean, maybe you think you're subscribed and you're not yet. Be sure to check. I know YouTube does unsubscribe people sometimes for some stupid ass reason, so I'd very much appreciate it. Trying to hit 12K soon. Are we already at 12K? No, like 100 away. Well, trying to hit like 50K soon, but 12K for another interesting special video. Share with a friend you think might enjoy. But this team is kind of crazy. Obviously, a ton of X factors on offense. Cooper Kupp, Matt Ryan, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, George Kittle. Julio did hit a 99, which is nice. And then the defense, no X factors, but a lot of superstars here. James Bradbury didn't develop as much as I thought he would yet, but given a few more years, he probably would. Up to an 87 overall now, but in year number 3, we finished 11-5, making the playoffs. Now, I did spoil it for myself. Matt Ryan was insane. 4,800 yards, 49 touchdowns, 16 picks is a little high, but who cares when you have almost 50 touchdown passes. Derrick Henry was good, 1,100 yards, 4.9 per carry, 13 touchdowns. Not quite like real life prime Derrick Henry, but still very good, obviously. Our top two receivers were insane. Julio with almost 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp with 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. Even George Kittle almost 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Blocking was a lot better this year, especially from Jake Matthews. He was actually good this year. Teron Armstead wasn't great, but even then I've seen a lot worse. And then on defense, Brandon Marshall led the team with 129 tackles. Tackles for loss, 11 from Gerald Hodges, 10 from Gillette and Beasley. And sacks, 11 from Junior Gillette led the team, 9 for Vic Beasley, 7.5 from Gerald Hodges. It must have sent him on a lot of blitzes for some reason, which I guess that works. And then interceptions, 2 for James Bradbury, Buda Baker, and Clinton Dix, and then 1 for a few players. Not that many picks, but it is what it is. We had the best offense in terms of yards in the NFL. Was our defense not great? It was 15th. It was pretty good. MVP goes to Matt Ryan here. So I guess a year after he would have won it in real life. Interesting top 10. Mahomes on the Cowboys up there. Alex Smith is a stud here. Phillip Rivers up there again. Blake Bortles up there. Okay. Offensive player of the year goes to Matt Ryan, of course. EJ Manuel's always a stud in this game. I don't know why. He was number 5 for offensive player of the year on the Giants now. Okay. Surprised to see no Julio or Cooper Kupp or anything. Defensive player of the year goes to John Bostic. Okay. I mean, he's never been that good in real life. Has always been kind of a dirty player. I don't really like him, but whatever. Gerald Hodges at number 2. Wish he could have won it. Brandon Marshall at 8. It's like almost all linebackers up here. Offensive rookie of the year goes to Patrick Mahomes. Cooper Kupp at 2. George Kittle at 3. So we get kind of cucked there, but that's what'll happen when Patrick Mahomes goes to your division. Defensive rookie of the year does go to Buda Baker. Matt Ryan, of course, wins best QB. Julio and Cooper Kupp top 2 best receiver. Gerald Hodges wins best linebacker, even though he didn't win best or defensive player of the year. I don't know. I don't understand that. Whatever. Definitely a solid season for sure. But we're going to be taking on the 49ers in the wild card here. They have Joe Mixon in this world. They still have Torrey Smith, Ahmad Brooks. We do have a much better team, an 87 to their 83, and we had a better record, going 11-5 to their 8-8. We beat them in week 17, but I guess there isn't much else for us to do here, so let's just simulate the game out, and hopefully we can get a win. And we thankfully do. We're going to be taking on the 10-6 Seahawks here. Now, this is still kind of like Legion of Boom Seahawks. It hasn't quite fallen apart here. They're an 88 overall, so they do have the better roster. We have some upgrades to work with, though. Oh, just Grady Jarrett, which we'll take, but I was hoping for more. But let's simulate this out and let's see if we can move on to the conference championship. And unfortunately, that's going to be the end of our run here. But I would call this rebuild a net positive because guess what? We didn't lose a Super Bowl in a very painful way. I would say that's better than, I wouldn't say it's better than winning a Super Bowl, but it's probably better to not be in one at all. And we built a very good team that would only get better throughout the years. So if I had the time, this could definitely be a dynasty here, absolutely, with some of the future best players at their positions in the NFL. But that's gonna be it for today's rebuild. I really hope y'all enjoyed. This was a lot harder of a team to rebuild than I expected it to be. It was just kind of old and like not that great, but we did make a very good team, so I'm happy with it. But again, for like the millionth time, 1,500 likes for another special video, 12,000 subs for another special video, and expect the next one to be my first Madden 24 rebuild of the year, obviously. But again, I really hope y'all enjoyed, and with that, I'll see y'all again in the next video. Goodbye.